Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel, Life on the Fly. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to tie the white crystal woolly bugger for trout and bass. So today I'm going to be tying on a size 8 streamer hook with a 3.8mm gold tungsten bead. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your bead there on the streamer hook, right up to the eye. You're going to hook her there in your vise. I'm using a metal stainless steel colored wire for the body wrap. UNI 8-0 width white thread. It's more of a cream than it is a white. Works either way. And then 4-inch long marabou for the tail. A silver flash chenille for the body wrap. Then about a 3-inch hackle feather just for the wrap of the body. Make sure it's fine fibers so that it can wrap properly. Okay. So first we're going to start off the thread by just going right behind the head, right behind the bead. Work your way down about halfway down the hook shank. Snip off that excess. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your wire. You're going to put it only about maybe half the hook shank length up to about the half of the hook shank, and then you're going to tie it on and go back towards the bend of the hook. Go all the way back up and tie that right off. There we go, should be able to see better. Okay, so now I'm back near the bend of the hook. I got my wire tied in. And the wire doesn't need to be too long. I mean, usually I go with about 4 or 5 inches. That's more than enough. And I mean, it's better to have too much than it is to have too little. Next, you're going to grab the marabou. You can use one if you want, depending on the thickness of the tail. I find I like a bushier tail just so that it gets that extra momentum in the water. Try to find a marabou that has its own cutoffs, natural cutoffs on the end, because I find it pulsates a little bit better in the water than if you were to snip it back where the stiffer half of it is. So what you're going to do is you're going to line it up so the feathers are just right, like so. You're going to measure it about the size of the hook, and that's how much feather, you're going to use for the tail off the back, just like so. You're going to clamp it there. You're going to tie her on. Once you tie it on there, you can start to go back towards the bead. I like to go all the way right up to the bead, just because it adds that bulk, so you don't have to put any dubbing on. And you're going to snip that off right at the head. Slide the tail back a little bit by pushing the bead, and then you can just tie it off. And then wrap your body just so it's all nice and flattened out and even. I like to leave a little bit of a dip right before the eye. You see how it can it goes down a little bit because that's where we'll be tying it off. So it will start to bulk up a little bit eventually when you put the chenille also on there. So go right back to the back near the tail to the last wrap there. Then you want to go underneath the tail, then back up and around, underneath, back, up and around. Do this about 3 times, just so it kind of fluffs up the tail, so the tail's not drooping down. You want that nice, even look to it. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your silver flash. Now I bought this in a store, $5 for one thing, by Hair's Dubbing Incorporated. It's $5 for one flash. Honestly, if you want to bang for your buck, you can go on Amazon. You can get a bundle of this stuff, the exact same stuff, from a different Chinese company, but you get it for way cheaper. You get 12 different colors for about 15 bucks. And they range from rainbow colors, gold, silver. I just get them in bundles. This one I bought in the store for 5 bucks, and honestly the material, you can't even really tell the difference, so you're paying for the logo. But what you're going to do is you're going to grab one strand, you can pull it all the way out, and then with that strand, you're going to cut it in half. Then you're going to line up the two pieces that you just cut, like so. Cut that in half, nice and even. Then what you're going to do is you're going to grab the two pieces that you just cut, only two, and you're going to put it up next to each other, like so. So it's about half and half. Then you're going to tie it right about there. You can tie it up about halfway up the hook shank, and then you're going to bend this back, and you're going to wrap right over it and lock it in. I usually like to put only about 2 pieces of flash on there, because usually any more, it always doubles up because you push it back, right? Then you do so on the other side. Fix it if it ever goes out and around the hook. I find it does bend out and around sometimes. Just gotta straighten it right out to the half, bend it back, and then lock it in place. So now you got your tail flash there. Next thing that you're going to do is you're going to grab some silver flash chenille. Now you don't need too much, maybe about the size of the whole entire thing. So about that much there. Just going to snip. Then what you're going to do here is you're going to just tie some on near the tail. And you're going to grab your thread. You're going to go all the way up to the bead. Then you're going to wrap. Doesn't matter what way you wrap, as long as you're wrapping it right up to the bead. I don't have my wrapping pliers with me, unfortunately, so I gotta use my finger, which is a little bit harder, but still does the job. Then you're just gonna lock that chenille right in. There we go. I'm not sure if you can see it really on the camera, but you got the flash there. And the next thing that you're gonna do, make sure that you still have your wire there. You never cut it off, you never lost her there in the wrapping. Then you're going to take maybe about 2.5, 3 inches of hackle. Make sure it's fine fibers, as the thick fibers are clumpy and they will not wrap. Take the end there, and I usually like to just take off about 2 fibers, so you got a stick there that you can tie on. Helps you out a little bit, makes it less messy. Then you're just going to tie that little stick there, right in that little spot, the little crevice there that you made for the tying. So it's just sitting there like this. Then what you're going to do is you're going to wrap around. I like to wrap around the head maybe about 2 times, just so it has a little bit more of a thickness than the rest of the body. 1, 2. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're going to start wrapping it back to the back of the hook. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now that you've wrapped it to the back of the hook, I'm just holding it there with my finger. You're going to take your metal wire, and the way that you wrapped it around the hook, with the wire you wrap the opposite way around the hook, up to the bead head. Now the reason why you do that is so that you will overlap the hackle, and you will lock it in place. If you do it the other way, then you're going to miss the hackle completely, and your tie will be screwed up. So let's just take this here. I wrapped clockwise with the hackle, so now I'm going to wrap clockwise as well, because from the front I wrap clockwise. So now from the back I'm going to wrap clockwise, which is the opposite way. So when you're wrapping the wire, just to get in between the fibers, make sure you go like this. Just work your way through those fibers. Right up to the front. Make sure you're just getting over that hackle and locking it in place. See, with the silver, you cannot see the wire with the flash. I've used copper before. Copper does work. It gives it a different look, especially if you want to put a brass flash. You can do so many different variations to this. I find bass really enjoy the white tail with the black hackle instead of the white hackle in the front. I've caught some big bass doing that. Okay, so you're going to do it right up to about the bead of the head. Then once you get to the bead there of the head, you're going to push back the hackle like so the bead is exposed. And then where the neck of it is, you're just going to wrap this around twice. Once that's wrapped around twice, you can bend it out towards the front of the hook and lock it in place. Careful not to snap your thread. I always snap my thread at this point. It's tough. Just lock it goodly in place, and sometimes you can just bend it off or just snip it. There we go. Flatten her out with your scissors. Cut your hand doing it with your finger. Just make sure that everything is just good. There we go. Now the back little piece of the hackle you can snip off or leave on, don't really matter. And just lock it all in. I don't whip finish, I do it with my fingers. So those of you who use the whip finish tool, my hat goes off to you because I cannot get my head around that. Yeah, I do the hand whip finish. And then when you're done doing your tie off, you can use head cement, or you can just leave it like so. I find head cement does work quite a bit because when you get many strikes over time, your thread may come loose. And there you have it, guys. The white Krystal woolly bugger on a size 8 streamer. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, and tune in for more videos as I'll be posting weekly. Thanks. Bye.